Hello, AODigimon fans! Alright, so this is a real special episode of AODigimon Show. Like you all know, I've been trying for a while to get a hold of voice actors. After a lot of back and forth between voice actors, I finally got hold of one guy. And it's not just any other guy in the Digimon universe, it's Jeff Nimoy. Yes. You may know him as the voice of Tentomon in Digimon Season 1. So I guess we'll just jump right into this. Ladies and gentlemen of the Digimon universe, I give you the interview with Jeff Nimoy. Let's check it out.
Hi Digi fans, good to see you again. I'm Jeff Nimoy, in case you were wondering. It's always good to speak to you again. I haven't seen you guys since the last convention, and since I don't do conventions anymore, and Alexander Olsen of AO Digi Channel, the AO in AO Digi Channel, when he asked me to do this interview, I was thrilled to talk to the fans again. If you've ever met me at a convention, you know I love the fans, and I'm grateful to Digimon for all the success it's brought me in life. And it's my way of giving back to you a little bit by answering your questions and signing your autographs, things you want. So, Alexander gave me a list of questions to ask you, and no, he did not do that. Alexander gave me a list of questions to ask me, so I'm going to answer them for you. This is just like a panel. All right, so to the interview. Introduction. Most people know, I'm reading off a piece of paper, most people know who you are in the Digimon fandom, but maybe you want to give a small introduction on some of the characters you voiced. Okay, well, as far as Digimon goes, I voiced Tentomon! Tentomon Digivolve 2! Kabuterimon! Kabuterimon Digivolve 2! Mega Kabuterimon! Hard to do after all those years, especially when my voice isn't warmed up. Actually, I'm probably most famous, voiceover speaking, for a character from Trigun, another anime series, where I played Nicholas D. Wolfwood. I had to think about that for a second. Loved playing that character. Unfortunately, they just made a movie from Trigun. I think it was called Badlands or something like that. And they dubbed it without me, much to my chagrin. But I loved playing Wolfwood. He sounded a lot like me. And unfortunately, I'll probably never get to play him again, but whatever. Also in Digimon Data Squad, I played Spencer Damon, Marcus's father. He sounded a lot like Wolfwood too. Okay. Question 1. First of all, a little backstory. How did you get started in this profession? Well, it's a long, tedious answer, so I'll try to make it quick. Just specifically to anime, I was voice acting with a good friend of mine, voice actor Doug Stone, and he turned me on to a producer, an anime producer named Rita Acosta at the time, now Rita Majcut. And Rita and I became very close friends, and I started doing a lot of anime voiceovers, and then later on I was producing segments for NFL Films, little comedy segments where, much like dubbing, we would take out all the sound away from a football clip and put a little comedy soundtrack. And it was very successful. I won an Emmy Award, I'll show you. So this beautiful lady I won for NFL Films. And an executive at Fox Kids, a man named Sean Roach, saw my clips and football clips and thought, what a great idea for our Japanese cartoons. Make them funnier than they normally are, or they were in Japan. And we can reach a bigger, broader American audience that way. And I did that with a few things. Then later on, a show called Digimon came around. Actually, a show called Pokemon came around, and Fox Kids passed. Someone else, I believe maybe Kids WB took on Pokemon, and it became the biggest show, of course, in history at the time, probably. I'm guessing. The audiences were huge, as you all know. It created a phenomenon. So, Fox Kids was pretty pissed off. They passed on Pokemon, so they got Digimon. And uh, they did not come to me right away for Digimon. I think that's a question coming up later on, but I'll answer it now. They did not come to me right away for Digimon. In fact, I auditioned for Digimon and did not get any parts yet. Later on, through a bunch of different circumstances, Rita called me and asked me to start writing. No, that's not true at all, is it? Now that I'm thinking about it. Terry O'Malley called, and Terry O'Malley was an assistant when I was at Fox Kids, and then at the time I was away, she became a producer. She wasn't actually the producer yet. She was more of a coordinator. Anyway, long story longer. I started writing some scripts along with my partner at the time, Bob Buchholz. We started writing some scripts for Digimon, and they were very well received over at Fox Kids. They were a lot wackier and funnier than the normal Japanese, and although a lot of people, fans of the original Japanese, hated it, the execs at Fox Kids loved it, and that's what they were looking for. And coincidentally, maybe not coincidentally, Digimon started growing in popularity after we started writing. Well, one thing led to another, and we started writing more and more scripts, and Rita got a promotion up to a development job, and Terry got a promotion up to producer. Now we're caught up to my memory. And that's when Terry asked me to start directing all of the episodes. This all happened around episode 16, I would say, 14, 16, somewhere around there, of season 1, which I think was 52 episodes. And then Bob and I did all of the second season, which was another 52 episodes, I believe. So, that's how I got involved in Digimon. The profession itself, well, that's a much longer story for another day. Question 2. Back in 1999, 99? As we know, you were one of the directors in Digimon Adventure. That's right. How did you end up with Tentomon? Tentomon! Was it the lack of voice actors? No, it was not. There's never a lack of voice actors, especially in Los Angeles. Or did you think, yep, that's the one I'm taking. I wish it was that simple. Or did you actually have to audition for this voice yourself? Not sure how this is with Digimon voice actors. Okay, well, let me tell you how it is with Digimon voice actors. I did have to audition, as I said before, for Digimon itself. I was not involved in the series at all. The original series directors, they used a bunch. They used Wendy Lee, Michael Sorich, who I took over for them, and before them, they used a rotation of Wendy and Michael, as well as Richard Epcar, among others. There were quite a few at the time. So I auditioned originally, though, for Terry O'Malley and Rita and everyone else involved, for the role of Matt. And although Terry told me later on she fought for me, I didn't get it. And I didn't get any role. Who do they think they are? Don't they know who I used to be? So I didn't get the role. But they did bring me in for a few other things, like I played Izzy's father. Little minor roles, nothing major. And then one day they called me and they said Joshua Seth, who played Ty, great actor, no longer in the business. He's a magician hypnotist now, doing very well. Joshua Seth has too many roles, they said. And I could believe it. You know, a lot of voices started sounding alike. Even though he does great different sounding voices, most of the time when you do a lot of them together, your voice starts sounding, all the characters start sounding alike a little bit. Anyway, they said Joshua has too many roles, and he played Tentomon as well as Modimon. Modimon! Something like that, sounded like that. And they asked me to voice match Joshua and take over the role of Tentomon, and I was happy to do it. And it was Tentomon's first really big episode, I think, when I took over. They waited, I think maybe Joshua actually recorded that episode, and they realized he sounded a lot like Ty in places, because a voice actor's voice starts to get a little tired after a while, and you start slipping into your natural voice, whether you want to or not. It just happens naturally. As you can tell right now, my voice is slipping naturally. So I came in, I voice matched Josh, and at the time the voice sounded a little like this, a little like Johnny Carson's doing Jackie Gleason. I know none of you know who either of those two people are, but look it up on YouTube. So anyway, I did a voice match like that, and eventually more and more episodes I started recording, the more I started making it my own. This happens with every actor. And Tentomon eventually became mine and sounded a lot like me. And little idiosyncrasies I gave him. So that's how I wound up with Tentomon. However, there is a little truth to what you're asking here. Later on, when I played Jedi, the young Jedi, yes, I just decided that's a role I want, and I took it. I did have to get approval. I was not the last word on anything ever in Digimon, but I did have quite a bit of influence after a while, and so I did take that role. But most roles you did have to audition for, get permission for, all of those things. Okay, I think I answered that. Moving on. Bonus question. Bonus question! Did you try out for someone else also? I told you, Matt. If that case, who? I told you that. Only need to answer if that was the case. Well, I answered. That was the case. Question 3. Writing Digimon the movie. We all remember that one. Was it hard taking 3 separate movies and creating pretty much a whole new story around the events? Fans, of course, have mixed feelings about this. So do I. Me personally did not know that there were 3 movies before, so I enjoyed it. But was it any plans at first to actually release them as separate movies? All interesting questions. Well, we had great debates over this movie, and I would say probably it led to me leaving Digimon eventually, these arguments and fights that we all had. We had big disagreements on who should do what. My thought was combine the first 2 movies into one movie. There was a nice tight little plot line I came up with, I thought. And Bob and I thought, came up with a great script. And that cut, I would say 90% of that script and cut made it into the eventual movie. But I did not want that third part in. I thought it was a real bad move, introducing 8 new characters, which were the characters from Adventure 2 series, 2nd season. And I thought it was a bad idea to introduce 8 new lead characters in the last 20 minutes of the movie. Well, I got shot down, and we added those 8 new characters in the last 20 minutes of the movie. And I had to go back, of course, and tweak some of the plot lines in the first part of the movie. It got very confusing, very convoluted. It did not work as well. I don't even know if it still worked, but I do know this. At the premiere, when my movie ended after the missile lands harmlessly in the harbor and Izzy hurls over the rail, I don't remember exactly how it ended, but the day was saved. Let's put it that way. Ty and Izzy, we saved the day. Well, we got a lot of applause, and people actually started getting up to leave, thinking the movie was over, and then all of a sudden on the screen it flashed a little chyron that flashed on 8 years later. And people started sitting back down, and what is going on? There's more? It seems like it ended. And to me it seemed like it ended too. Regardless. Look, you don't get a lot of control all the time, especially a first-time director. The network, the studio, the producers, the network executives, the studio executives, everyone has their say. The presidents of the studio, they all get their say. And, you know, it is what it is. My only option was it doesn't make it on. It doesn't make it onto the screen. I don't have to direct it. They can fire me, hire someone else very easily. So that's the way it was. It's the way it is. That's the way it will always be forever on a DVD. My other idea was to release that third movie as a separate DVD for the fans as its own little movie, much like I did much later on with Revenge of the Aboromon. But whatever, you don't get what you want every time in show business, just like in life. You have to do what you have to do. I don't know if my movie would have been more well received, better received. Speak English much? But whatever it is, this is the way it is. Okay, moving on. Question 4. When Digimon Data Squad came out, my favorite, when Digimon Data Squad came out, you actually took the step contacting with the will form. Yes, I did. Asking the fans about inputs. Sorry, I didn't hear about AODigimon Channel at the time. I might have reached out to you, but With the Will has been very good to me, and I'm a big fan of their site, and among a lot of Digimon sites. I reached out to a lot of fans over the years. I asked the fans for some input. That's right. To me, that was new at the moment, but an awesome idea. So much fan service right there. I had never seen a director do that, jumping in and writing, translating an anime before. How did that come to mind? And did you get any inputs that made you choose to change some stuff regarding the writing for the season? Yes, as a matter of fact, I got some great input, especially on casting, and I took many of those suggestions to heart. I know, oh boy, my mind is going over the years, but Jameson Price as the commander, I definitely took a lot of advice on him. And as soon as I read it, I thought it was perfect casting for it. I had worked with Jameson before. And lucky for me, I had a lot of control on Digimon Data Squad. I was able to pretty much cast whoever I wanted. I did need approval from Disney at the time. Disney bought Fox Kids and took over the project. And they trusted me, as did the producing studio, Studiopolis, which were a bunch of people from the old Fox Kids, and they trusted me and my opinions and all of these things. And all I had to do was get approval from them. Once in a blue moon, they said, we're not quite sure on this casting, so please give me your second favorite choice. And usually the second favorite choice was taken, but almost in every case, I got my first choice. Even sometimes to the detriment of the show. I probably gave a few of those roles to people just because I liked working with them rather than they were perfect for the role. But hey, whatever, you live and learn. I won't do that again. And I'm not going to tell you who they were, so stop asking right now. That's not happening. Okay. So I reached out to the fans because for just that reason. And also, I reached out to the fans because in seasons 1 and 2, I got a lot of flack for some of the casting choices and some of the writing, and a lot of the times I didn't even do that writing or casting. I had no control over any of it, you know? I would write something and the notes would come back from the network and you'd change it for their notes. So, and then I got a lot of flack for that from the fans, like, oh, Jeff Nimoy and Bob Buckles have ruined Digimon. You've ruined it. You should die. Funny story about that. First time I was even on the internet, like everyone, you Google yourself. And I Googled myself and I saw these websites that said Jeff Nimoy should die for ruining Digimon. And I wrote a few of these people. I said, you shouldn't say that. My mother was reading this. And they wrote back, relax, buddy. You should see what we say about Britney Spears. So that put a lot of things into perspective for me. And I realized what celebrity is all about. At any rate, this time I wanted the fans' input. I wanted to see what they wanted because after all, if the fans don't like it, I'm out of work. So I wanted to see what they were all about. And they had some great suggestions. I didn't take all of their suggestions, but I did take quite a few of them. I forgot the question now. At any rate, let's see, what else? Okay, question number 5. After season 5, it seems that the interest of Digimon kind of went away. I promise you it didn't, he says. Yeah, it did. But probably the different companies buying Digimon didn't have good ratings from the animes anymore. There's a reason for that. Well, Fox Kids has a much bigger distribution than Disney Channel or whatever it was at the time, ABC Family Channel, wherever Digimon aired. I think they might have aired on both. But Fox Kids had a much bigger distribution, much bigger audience, more households, as we say in TV. It reached more households. So we had about 8 to 11 million viewers every week on Digimon. Well, I don't even think Disney Channel and ABC Family Channel combined are even in 8 million households. So that's a big reason why the ratings were much lower. I don't know about the popularity. The popularity might have still been there. It's just we couldn't reach as many people. But I happen to love Digimon Data Squad. Like I said before, I had a lot of control over it. I got to do it my way, and I thought it was a really good example of Digimon from beginning to end. There were a lot of secret little messages I put in there, which you can read about on the internet, especially the very last episodes with, I had this thing in my mind where it was actually all in Izzy's imagination, keeping with the Digimon sort of legend of seasons 3 or 4. I don't know. I wasn't involved in them, so I don't know which season had the thing where it was all a TV show. I think it might have been 3. You'll correct me, I'm sure, in the comments. Regardless, you could look that up. That's not something I'm going to discuss now. It's, like I said, it's a secret little thing I had with the fans, so I'm going to keep it that way, but you can look it up yourself and find the secret. There's more to this question, by the way. Do you think season 5, which has a lot of mixed feelings around it, was that not good of a season in general? I think I answered that. I think it was the best season, to tell you the truth. Was that not good of a season in general? And could stuff have been done better? Well, it could always be done better. Like I said, I didn't have complete control on this either. I had a lot of control, but not all of it. You know, Rita, Madgecut, and I, who had a lot to do with this series, we answered to only a few people, but we did answer to them. And, you know, we had to answer to them. There was one episode in particular, I think everyone remembers it. It was very controversial. I think the character's name was Diver Bomberdon. Diver Bombermon. I'm not sure if that was the answer, but it was a big giant bomb walking through an amusement park. And we had to change it because Disney would not have a big giant bomb walking through an amusement park. So Rita had what I thought was actually a pretty brilliant idea of turning it into a giant tangerine and making it Tangerinemon. I don't know what the name of it was. They all blend together to me after a while. I'm sorry. After 104 episodes of Digimon, 2 movies, actually 4 movies if you count the 3 that were 1, and countless other animes that I've worked on, all the names start sounding alike to me. So I'm sorry, don't write in if I'm getting these names wrong. But I do know that was the episode. And Disney was okay with the giant tangerine walking through. And she changed all the explosions to giant fireworks at the amusement park, which I also thought was brilliant. Now, a lot of people say, you're ruining Digimon! Well, again, it's either do that or not get it on the air. And we'd rather have it on the air. And we'd rather work than be fired. So that's the reason it was changed. And now, I don't know if it could have been better or worse, if it was better if we left it alone. Certainly with the purists that I call them, the people that love the Japanese more than the dubbing, maybe it would have been better. But for people that like the dub better than the sub, as they say, well, I don't know. I thought it turned out pretty good. I thought the whole series turned out pretty good. Well, I don't know if it could have been better or worse, but I was very happy with the way Digimon Data Squad turned out, pretty much from beginning to end. Okay, question number 6, the final question number 6. Digimon is still around. It is, because they haven't called me. Living and breathing like never before. But it is on life support, you have to admit that. If the opportunity would show up again, would you take on the job writing another Digimon season? Yes, I would, in a heartbeat. I love Digimon. I've always loved Digimon, despite what some people think. Some people think I hated Davis, the character in that season 2. I love Davis. Nothing could be further from the truth. I love Davis, and I love the actor who played Davis, Brian Donovan. Loved him so much that I cast him in Naruto when I was directing that. I cast him as Rock Lee, and he didn't even want to do that part, but I talked him into it, knowing he was perfect for it, and the fans loved him as Rock Lee. So, and as soon as I cast him, I left Naruto, so left him in the lurch. But he was in good hands with Mary Elizabeth McGlynn. Anyway, I love Digimon. I would love to be a part of Digimon again. It says here, to follow up that question, Digimon has both a season 6 and 7. I did not know they had a season 7. But they have not been confirmed in America as far as I know. These are rumors though, but yeah. Well, yeah, I would love to be a part of it. I don't know if they're going to call me. I'm not producing Digimon. I never did produce Digimon. Although I did a lot of things producer-like on Digimon, I was never the producer. Rita Acosta was first, then / Rita Acosta Magicut, then Terry O'Malley, and then back to Rita Magicut, and for season 5 when I came back on Digimon. And if I did do Digimon again, I would really want to do it with Rita again. I mean, I love working with Rita. She's a very close friend of mine, and she's the best at what she does. So I would love to do it. I don't know if they'll call. If they called and we can work out some agreement, I mean, obviously, I do this for a living. I'm a professional, so I would not do it for free, but I think they would get the hometown discount if they called me. But I am not the only person associated with Digimon, obviously. Mary Elizabeth did a great job with it. Wendy Lee, Michael Sorwich, Richard Epcar, among others, were associated with it before me and after me. And but I think the fans equate me with it. I'm very glad for that because, you know, I did do 3 seasons and a movie, 2 movies, Revenge of Diaboromon. By the way, Revenge of Diaboromon, hard to say, was my entry back into Digimon. That's when they called. Disney had taken over for Fox Kids and saw this project, and they made some movies in Japan, and they were like, well, this is going to be our entry back into Digimon. Who do we call? They called Jamie Simone, who runs Studiopolis. Jamie and I used to work together at Fox Kids. In fact, our offices, Rita, mine, and Jamie's, were right in a row together at the old Saban building. And Jamie called me and said, hey, I told Disney I got the Digimon guy. You were the Digimon guy, right? I said, yeah. And they go, good. I'm glad I told them that, though. Do I have you? And love working with Jamie. So, yes, I did Diaboromon, but I did tell him, because there were some other movies as well, and I said, you know, I'll do Diaboromon because it involves the first 2 casts, but I really don't know anything about seasons 3 or 4, so I turned Mary Elizabeth onto those, and she did a great job from what I've heard. I didn't see them, sorry. I was too busy at the time, not for lack of interest, but it was Mary Elizabeth's entry back into Digimon as well, and we all just kept shaking our head going, can you believe we're doing this again with the same people? And Mary Elizabeth and I both had a great time doing that, and Mary Elizabeth and I went on to do a lot more shows. Oh, mail's in. Mary Elizabeth and I went on to do a lot more shows with Studiopolis and Jamie Simone and Rita Magicut, and I think she's still working there. Mary Elizabeth took over Naruto for me after I left. I took over it for Jamie. Jamie directed the pilot episode, and I did Bleach. I think Mary Elizabeth worked on Bleach for a while. Oh, there's a lot of it. A lot of anime and a lot of stuff from Viz Media that we both worked on, and Mary Elizabeth continues to work on. I have not done anime in quite a long time. I've been busy with other projects, but I would love to do anime again, sure. Especially if it was a project I loved, like Digimon. So, if anyone's watching and they're hiring, yes, I'm interested. Okay, and what are your plans from now on? If you can talk about them. Some I can talk about, some I can't talk about. Any special stuff? any special stuff we can wait and see from you? Well, I can't really talk about a lot of it for non-disclosure agreements purposes, but I am working on a web series right now, and a film right now, an animated film right now, a kids film right now that I hope to write and direct, shoot in Alaska. Can't really talk about much more. But there's a lot on my plate. But there's always room for Digimon. Let's put it that way. There is something I am working on that I can talk about, a website that I have launched on June 1st. It is called sameplate.com. That's sameplate.com. And it's the dating site that matches people through the food they eat. So, if you're on a special diet, you can find someone else on that same special diet here, whether it's Weight Watchers or diabetes, gluten-free, peanut allergies, whatever it is, you can find a date on sameplate.com. Or if you're just a pizza lover, a burger lover, a sushi lover, and you're looking for the same lover, you could find them at sameplate.com. I'm very excited about it, and please go there. It's 100% free. So, go ahead, sign up, create a profile. We're actually still in the beta testing phase, so you would help me out enormously by signing on and creating a profile. You must be 18 or older, however, to create a profile, to be a member. But if you are 18 or over, it is 100% free. So, thanks very much. It has been great talking to the fans again. If you have any questions, just maybe you can get Alexander Olson to start a forum, and maybe I'll show up. Maybe I'll show up live every now and then for a live chat, but you can certainly leave questions, and I can't promise I'll answer them right away, but I think I'll get to them eventually. Thanks again, and this is Jeff Nimoy signing off. Thanks to all the Digimon fans out there, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much to Jeff Nimoy for giving me this interview and making this a really special AODigimon Show episode. It took a while, but I finally got a Digimon related person, and a good one that is. Check his stuff out, I guess. The next AODigimon Show, I don't have any special dates. I'm gonna make them when I make them, but I'm gonna continue on doing different topics. But I'm gonna try to do stuff like this more, because it's fun for you guys and it's fun for me, and yeah, to have a little bit more information about Digimon that you maybe did not know. So yes, until next episode of AODigimon, if you want to be in my show, in a fan section, write me and we'll put you in the show. So yes, until later, see you later, Digimon fans.
Hi guys, this is Jeff Nimoy saying remember to check out the future videos from AODigimon. And if you enjoy them, also remember to like the videos and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for keeping the spirit of Digimon alive. And if you can, check out my new website. It's a dating site called sameplate.com, the dating site that matches people by the food you eat.